I was born in Euclid, Ohio in 1948. And in 1948, my Aunt Maudie and my grandmother Maud and Maudie's husband bought a restaurant on Old 41 called the Anchor Barbecue. It had 6 stools and an open barbecue pit in the rear. They bought the restaurant, a house, and another house over on Riverside Drive, South Riverside Drive, for $35,000. In 1948, that was pretty good money. Well, they were open morning, noon, and night, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the bar at night. And talk about work, 7 days a week. They never closed for the summer. I first came down and flew with my parents into Page Field in 1952, and for my first visit. And of course, it was in summertime when Dad was on vacation from TRW Corporation, and I got to wash pots and pans and dishes at the Anchor Barbecue, which later was turned into, we named it the Golden Anchor. And in 57 and 58, they won the Silver Spoon for one of the best restaurants in the state of Florida. And in 1956, my uncle called my father and said, "Ralph, I need $5,000. And Dad said, "What do you need $5,000 for, Carl?" He says, "Whiskey." Whiskey? He said, "Yeah." He said, "I have to have $5,000 worth of whiskey in order to get my packaged good liquor license for the restaurant." He said, "Well, Dad, so I'll ask Jean." Of course, he had to ask my mother. And she said, and then he come back, he said, "Well, Carl, I guess you can always sell whiskey." So that was the first liquor license packaged goods store between Fort Myers and Naples. The dog track had to open up in 1956 in order for my uncle to get his liquor license, because there had to be a competing license. And the dog track was open for 3 months as a training track. So if you wanted to buy alcohol, spirits, you needed to go to my uncle's bar. In the old days, going to the beach was a project. Since it was a shell road, we'd all come down to the public beach at the end of Bonita Beach Road. There was a 50-foot public access. That was it. And the rest of it was private property. And over the years, the county purchased up. There were 10 commercial lots on there, and Doc's Beach House is the last commercial lot on that corner. People used to park on the beach. It was free, of course. It was a mess, though, trash and everything. But the shells, when you consider that people made a living picking up the shells on the beach, like the shell factory, I'd be there with my dad, and be looking at the beach, and my dad was trying to explain to me. He says, "Well, this is a retirement area, a retirement community." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, people work their whole lives so they can come down here and retire at like 65 years old and retire." And I'm thinking to myself, I said, "Well, I'm looking at people walking up and down the beach, picking up shells, and I thought to myself, well, I can do that now. I don't have to wait." So after about the second trip, I decided that this is where I was going to be. This is where I'm going to spend my life. And in 73, 74, there was a severe recession. And all these condominiums on this beach were in receivership. They all went bankrupt in receivership. And my mother came down here and looked and looked and looked, and one morning she looked out and there was a double rainbow coming down on this half-finished building, and she said, "This is it." So she purchased this place. It was in receivership. She had $1,500 down and a $30,000 mortgage. Well, it was paid. The mortgage was paid off, and they retired in 1979. Well, it wasn't soon. It was August of 1980, 36 years ago. I came down here and moved in and went to work across the street building sea aisles. Used to come home for lunch, jump in the pool, get cooled off, come up, grab a bite to eat, and go back to work. It was rough times. But the beach is just always different. It's a great place for people to exercise. All day long, all day long, you have people running, jogging, walking on the beach, on the beachfront. The birds and the fishermen and the tides changing and the sunsets and the moon rises and the moon sets, and it's just a wonderful place to live. I can sit here in my lazy chair and see Fort Myers Beach City, Sanibel, look over my shoulder, I see Vanderbilt Beach, and all the way down to Naples Pier. This is, I don't know wherever I could ever find a better place to live. I've been in 45, I've hitchhiked around the country, 44 different states. I've been in 11 countries in Europe. I've been to Havana, Cuba. I've been to Nassau, and nothing beats Bonita. That's it. So I've seen what I wanted to see. I have no need to go anywhere else. I'm so spoiled.